Hi guys, it's Lynn with Curiosity Crochet. I hope you're all still safe and healthy. I told you I was going to work up that other stitch in a different way, and I think it turned out great. Like, this would turn out great in any colors, but I used Lion Brand Landscapes, and this is fuchsia and black, and then charcoal. And then, wait, look at this huge pom-pom. This is a slouchy hat, so this lays on the back of the head. You'll see it in the picture you'll see on the, on the thumbnail of the picture, that's how it lays. So it's real cute, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I thought this worked up so cute. And I kept telling my boys, I'm going to call this If Charlie Brown Were a Girl. I just think that it is the cutest, and it literally would look good in any colors. And you could even do this with 3 or 4 colors. You just have to do 2 rows of each color instead of doing every other row, and then you get this effect. That's what I love about crochet, and the magic of it is you could take one stitch and change it up and make it look different than you did the time before. And I just think that is so much fun. So I wanted to share this with you, and it is the same stitch as my last video, but I wanted to share with you the way I worked this one up. And then, you know, you don't have to add a pom-pom, and you definitely don't have to add one as big as I did. I went a little overboard, but it's cute. I like different, and it's different. So yeah, so like I said, I used Lion Brand Landscapes, and I used it recommends a 6.5. So for the brim, I used what did I use? I used a 6. And then for this part, I used a 7. And then I brought it in a little bit. I did the first 4 rows in a 7. Then I went to a 6.5 for 4 rows. And then I went down to a 6 for the rest of the top. Now, you don't have to use the same yarn that I use. You don't even have to use the same hooks. This one works up pretty nice. So you could use one hook smaller on the brim, and then just use recommended for like this mid part of the top, and then bring it down just one hook size smaller, like you did with the brim. Use that size for this top part and closing it up. And then, like I said, you could make a pom-pom. You don't have to make a pom-pom. It looks nice even without the pom-pom. If you can see underneath there, the way I did it, it works real cute. So today I'm going to do it on a small scale to show you, just to show you guys real quick how I did it. Because it is the same as last time, but if there's anybody new watching the video that didn't watch the last one, I want to make sure I show the stitch a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I did the brim. So, as always, you need scissors and a tapestry needle, and don't forget to have a tape measure, because this will come in real handy, especially if you use different yarn. And like I said before, I don't give like the amount of rows I do or anything like that, because if you're using anything other than the exact yarn I'm using, it won't turn out the same. And I wanted to show you guys something. Hold on one second. Okay, you know how I'm always telling you guys that 4 weights aren't created equally, 5 weights aren't created equally? I want to show you this. Now, not only are both of these Premier Everyday, I'm going to show you this. They're both Premier Everyday. Anti-pilling. They're exactly the same thing. The only thing different is that this is variegated and this is solid. They're both 4 weights. Both of them are 4 weights. Now I'm going to show you this. Look at, one's thicker than the other one. So that's what I mean when I say not all, and this is still a 4 weight. It's just a light 4 weight. And then this is the solid one. So you can't count on everything being the same and it working up the same, because it won't. It won't work up the same. That's why I always give you guys measurements, because it works out better than you'll end up with the right size hat for what you're going for. So with that said, you can use any yarn, any weight yarn, it doesn't matter. You just want to make your chain, well, your starting chain, when I give you the multiples in a little bit here, you want to make that the length of however big the diameter of the head you're making it for. So if you measure their head and you know exactly what the diameter is, then that's how you'll go. And I always say make it a little tight, because they stretch. Hats stretch. The more you wear them, the more they stretch. So you want to start a little tight so it gives them room to stretch and they can still wear it. So whatever you're making it for, whether it be average size, I usually say 18 to 20. So I always say make it a little bit on the smaller side so that it can stretch. And then larger heads are 20 to 22. Smaller, you know, like older children or preteens, you would probably do anywhere from 15 to 18 inches. I was saying in the other video too, I do have a couple orders coming up for baby hats, and I'm going to do some research into the sizing of them. So I will have more information in my next upcoming videos on like baby hats, different sized baby hats. My hat videos seem to do the best. That's why I stick to doing hats a lot, but I do have some other stuff coming up. I've got a real pretty spring scarf that I really want to share with you guys. So that's coming too. I think that might be my next video, and it'll be in a couple days. But anyways, let's jump into this. So you want a multiple of 3. So you want to do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 until you have your chain the length of whatever diameter you're going for, okay? Let me make my chains and we'll meet back. Okay, and like I said, I'm doing mine on a small scale, so I just did 24 chains. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow this down with our thumb so it doesn't twist. And we are going to slip stitch into that very first chain. Well, and we are going to slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 2. Now we're starting with the brim. So whatever color you want, I'm going to do everything in one color, but I'll let you know when to change. So this is your brim color that you want to be in. Now, I always tell you, you can do it however you want to. If you want to do the brim the same color as one of the colors in the hat, that's totally fine too. But this is the brim that we're starting with. And I'm going to work in the back bumps. So if you're looking at it this way, if you just flip it, there's a third loop on the back of the chains. And that's what I'm going to work into. Now, you can work in normal, it's fine. I just work back here because it leaves a nice clean edge on a hat at the bottom. Now, if you are going to work in the back bumps, the very first one is sometimes hard to see, but it's attached to your slip knot here. So, and I have a hard time getting in there sometimes because the knot is in my way. But you just kind of have to finagle it and get in there. Well, making me look stupid. And then you're going to do a double crochet. Well, if this yarn wouldn't split, I would do a double crochet. Okay? And then you're just going to put 1 double crochet in each chain around. So you should have the same amount of double crochet. You should have the same amount of double crochets as you do that you started chains. So if you started with 60 chains, you'll have 60 double crochets. And I always recommend to count when you're starting out because you don't want to lose your multiples. And the one other thing I want to tell you is if you landed on an odd number, with your chains. The brim is worked in even numbers, but don't worry about it, because when I made mine, I'm going to show you real quick. When I made mine, I had odd number because it didn't need to be as big, but you can't, like, here's where it, you know, like you start with front post and you're supposed to end with back post, but you have 2 front posts here. But because you have the chain in the middle, you know, from where you're working, it doesn't matter all that much. It works out just fine. So don't worry about if you landed on an even or odd or even number. It doesn't matter. It'll work out just fine. So go ahead and put your double crochets in each chain, and we'll meet back up and I'll show you the next step. Okay, when you come back around, if you did it in the 3rd loop, you're going to be careful because the last one tends to be real tight back here. So I suggest just counting and making sure you have all your stitches. And then we're going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet. Okay, and now we're going to chain 2. And this is what we're going to do for this brim. We're going to do a front post, back post, front post, back post, repeat around. So first you're going to yarn over, and right around that first stitch, not your chain 3 here, your chain 3 right here, but your first post here, we're going to go into the side here and go underneath that post. You're going to grab a loop, pull it up, and then finish your double crochet. Okay, and now for the back post, we're going to yarn over. We're going to come up from behind now. So you're going to go backwards. You're going to come in this way, and you're going to put that post behind your hook. So you're going to be on top of the post now, and you're going to grab a loop. Well, you're going to try at least. You're going to go in, you're going to grab a loop, and then you're going to finish your double crochet. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat that around. So you're going to yarn over, go in to the right side here, and go under that post, grab a loop, and finish your double crochet. And then you're going to do the back post. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go in from behind and put your hook on top of the post. Go in through the other side, grab that loop, and then finish your double crochet. Okay? So that's what we're going to repeat. We're going to do front post, and then we're going to do back post. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around. And I'll meet you back at the end here. Okay, I'm coming back around. And now I'll land on a back post here because I landed on an even number. And like I said, if you landed on an odd number, don't worry. It's totally fine. You'll land on a front post here. But it's totally fine. It's going to work out just fine. So don't worry about it. But then you're going to slip stitch to the top of your first double. And then you're just going to repeat that. You're going to put a front post on a front post and a back post on a back post. And then you're going to come around and you're going to slip stitch to that first one. You're going to repeat that for as many rounds as you would like your width of your band to be. I did 5 rows on my brim, but I used the Lion Brand Landscapes, which is a little bit thicker, so it works up quicker. So you may need more or less depending on what you want it to be. So go ahead and do that, work up your brim, and then come back. And we're going to jump right into making the top of the hat. So after you've made your brim and now you're coming back to me, you're going to change colors here. I'm not changing colors just because I'm just working this up quickly for you. But you're going to change colors here. So you can attach it however you like to attach your next color. And then we're going to chain 1. I almost said change. Oh, you guys, I still have had like no sleep. I don't know what is going on. But anyways, and then we're going to do 1 quick row of just single crochet all the way around. We're just going to put 1 single in the top of every stitch. Now this is just creating a base row for us to work into, instead of working on top of the front post and back post stitches. This just gives a nice sturdy base. So you're just going to put 1 single in the top of every stitch. Now, if I go too fast in these videos, or I'm not showing things that you need me to show, like changing colors and stuff, just let me know. I just, in my head, I figure everybody knows how to change colors and they have their own way of doing things. So in some videos, like if I'm making the hat with you and I'm changing colors too, I show you how I do it. But I don't know, I always figure everybody's got their own way of doing things, and I just let it go with these ones that I'm doing it quickly for you. So let me know in the comments. Like, I can always add stuff to the videos, and I could always change colors and show you how I do it. So, but anyways, once you come back around, you're going to slip stitch in the first single there. And then you're going to keep it the same color for now. You're going to do, you did this single, and now this is what we're going to do. We're going to start the pattern repeat with this first row here. And then you're going to do 1 more row in the same color. And then you'll switch colors. And I'll let you know when we get there, because I'm going to do the first couple rows with you. And then I'm going to let you go and finish the height of your hat. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. We're going to put 3 double crochets in this first stitch. Now, if you watched my last video, this is literally the same exact stitch, just worked up differently. So if you already know and remember the stitch, all you're doing is you're doing 2 rows of each color instead of 1 row of each color. So if you want to skip this part of the video, go ahead and work up your height of your hat. And I brought mine to about 7.5 inches and then closed it up, and it made it nice and slouchy. So, but that was with the Lion Brand Landscapes, which is a little thicker of a 4 weight. It's kind of close to a 5 weight. So it's totally up to you. So we're going to skip 2, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put 3 doubles in that same stitch right there. I don't know how far this little ball of yarn is going to get me, but I'm sure going to try. We're going to skip 2, and we're going to put 3. And that's all you're going to repeat around. And this is pretty much the repeat that you're going to do anyways. It's just where you put the 3 double crochets. And we'll learn that in the next row. Okay, so go ahead and skip 2 and put 3 double crochets. And then skip 2, 3 double crochets, and do that all the way around. And I'll meet you back up at the end. Okay, then when you come around, you should have 2 stitches left to skip. And then you're just going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. This is where we work. We're working in the row below. Okay, so we're going to chain 2. And we're not going this way yet. We're going to start right here, because if we don't, it pulls too much. So, And now, for right now, we just have 2 skip stitches. So we're going to work in that very first skip stitch. And we're going to put those 3 double crochets down there. And make sure you pull up a pretty good loop when you're bringing it up, so it doesn't bunch everything up. And then now we're going to jump to the next, and we're going to do the same thing in that very first skipped one. And you're going to put 3 double crochets in there. And that's what you're going to do all the way around. You're just going to jump down below and put 3 double crochets in that first skip stitch. And you're just going to do that all the way around. Okay, so go ahead and get that done, and I'll meet you back at the end here. Okay, then when you come around, you'll do your last one here, and this is where we started, so you'll skip over this, and you're going to slip stitch to that first double crochet here. Now, this row is what you're going to repeat, but you want to change colors here. So however you change colors, this is where you're going to change colors. So you're going to do 2 rows of each color, and you'll just change after each 2 rows. So you'll do 2 colors, or 2 rows of the one color, 2 rows of the next color, 2 rows of one color, 2 rows of the next color. So it's always going to be 2 rows. And this row here is what your repeat's going to be. So you're going to chain 2. Let me get back into screen here. And just like before, we're going to work down below, and we're going to start backwards almost, like right underneath where your chain is. And we had 3 double crochets, right? So we're going to work in that middle double crochet, and you're going to put those 3 double crochets in that spot again. So it's always 3 double crochets, and it's always in the row below in the middle double crochet. And then you jump to the next one here. And the middle one's usually the one showing, so it's not real hard to figure out which one you're going into. This yarn is splitting so bad. I have the hardest time with yarn splitting, have you noticed? But anyway, so see, when you jump to the next, the one showing is your middle one, and that's what you're going to work into. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to repeat that row over and over again, but you're going to do 2 rows of one color and then 2 rows of your next color, and just keep alternating that. Always 2 rows of each color. And that's what gives you this effect. And you can bring it to any height you want. Like, if I wouldn't make it any shorter than like 6 inches though, or else it's not going to cover the ears. Like, it won't be long enough. So 6 is your starting point of how tall you want it to be, and then we're going to close it. And there's a little bit of closing, so there'll be a little bit extra. So maybe 5.5 inches would be okay, because you got a little bit of closing. But I wouldn't stop any shorter than that. And like I said, I brought mine to 7.5, and it made it, well, 7.5, and it made it nice and slouchy. It's real cute. So go ahead and do that, work it up, and then we'll meet back. I'm going to pull this out because I'm running out of yarn here, and I want to make sure I can show you the closing. So go ahead and do that. We'll meet back up, and we will close it up, and we will have a hat. Okay, once you have your height worked up, pay no attention to this. This is Chewbacca's new hat. I'll show you him when we get done, because he's wearing another hat, and this one's going to be his new hat, and he's looking forward to his new hat. So anyways, what we're going to do to close it, you should have finished on the 2 rows, so you're going to change colors here. And what we're going to do is you're going to chain 2, and we're still going to work in this middle stitch here, but we're going to do 2 double crochets. well. We're going to do 2 double crochets in each of the middle stitches now instead of 3. And we're going to do that for 2 rows. So you're doing the same color, you're doing the same thing for the 2 rows. You know, the same color for 2 rows. This time we're just doing 2 double crochets instead of 3. So go ahead and do this row and the next with just 2 double crochets in each of the middle stitches, and we'll meet back up and I'll show you the next step. Okay, once you've finished your 2 rows of the 2 doubles, you're going to change colors again, and I'm slip stitching, so you're going to change colors here, however you change colors, and we are going to chain 2 again. Now, this gets easy from here on out. We are going to just, this row here, we're just going to put 1/2 double crochet in the top of each stitch. So it's just 1/2 double in each stitch all the way around. And I think I'm just going to get around here because we're getting pretty close to being done here. And I'm sorry I did another one with the same stitch. If anybody is like, why did she do it again? Well, I came up with another idea while I was making the last video of how I could make that same stitch different. And I thought I would share it with you guys because it just turned out so cute. So the next video will be different again. It won't be the same thing, I promise. I've got a couple stitches that I am working stuff up on. And like I said, I've got that scarf in the works, and that one's a real pretty stitch. That's only a 2-row repeat, and it's going to be a real pretty spring scarf. Like, it's lightweight. It's real pretty. So once you come around, you will slip stitch to that first 1/2 double. And now, same color, you're going to chain 2. And we're going to put 1/2 double in the first stitch, right there where you slip stitched. And then we're going to bring 2 together. Now, the way I do 1/2 double 2 together is I yarn over and I go in and I pull up a loop. And then in the next stitch, I just go in and pull up a loop. So then you have 4 loops and you pull through all 4. And then you'll do 1 in the next, and then you'll do 2 together. So 1 by itself, and then 2 together. Oop. 1 by itself. Well. And then 2 together. You guys must think I'm crazy, but or you're thinking she doesn't even know how to crochet. But it's so awkward when you're recording and like you have to sit a certain way, you have to hold things a certain way, and then you can't grab at it, and it's like it makes you look mental. So 1 in by itself. We're almost done here with this round. So, and now this is another thing I always say when you're closing up, because if you notice I have 1 stitch left. When you're closing up, the stitch count no longer matters. So when I do this, I just try to bring it in a timely manner without bringing it in too quick or too slow. So I'm left with 1 stitch, and I'm just going to go in and add, I'm just going to put 1 more 1/2 double. Now, if you had 2 left, you could do 1 more decrease. It works out the same. And then you're going to change colors here 1 last time. So you can cut off the other color. We're going to finish up with the very last color here. And there's only 2 rows left, and then we're done. Now, my hole is already pretty small, so I'm just going to go through, I'm going to show you, and then I'm not going to do it again. Now, the very last row is optional. Because if you do this row here that we're just about to do, and the hole is small enough, you don't even have to do the last row. I did the last row just to add just a little bit more of the color and to bring that hole nice and small. So it's totally up to you. But for this row, you're going to chain your 2, and you're just going to put 2 together all the way around. So you're just going to go into every stitch and bring them together. And I'll have that 1 stitch left over here. And I'm just going to put my last half double in it. Now, I'm not going to go any further, but what you can do if you want to go 1 more row, just to add that 1 last row of color so that it's an even 2 rows, which is what I did on mine, is you slip stitch here, and then you're just going to do that 1 and a decrease again. So you'll do 1 by itself and then a decrease, and then 1 by itself and a decrease. And you just do that around whatever you have left. And it'll close the hole up a little bit, and it'll give you that even 2 rows of the last color, which is the main reason why I did it, because I probably could have left it, you know, after this row, but I wanted it to be even, because I'm, you know, OCD like that. So it's up to you though, you don't have to do that. But once you come to the end here, you'll just leave yourself a long strand. And then I always pull it to the inside, and I flip it inside out to close it up. You don't have to. If you're planning on putting a pom-pom on it, it really doesn't matter much if you're going to put a pom-pom on it, because you can't see it. But I don't know, for me, even if I'm putting a pom-pom on it, I still turn it inside out, because, you know, especially if I'm putting a fur pom-pom on, I make it removable so you can still see the top. But it's up to you, however you do it. But this is how I do it, and then I go in and out of each stitch here all the way around. And this is so small. It's so cute. Wait till I show you Chewbacca in his new hat. And I just went down too far. Hold on. Because I'm right at the end here. It's hard to see on these small ones, I'll tell you what. But then I just go back and forth across where it's closed up a couple times. Across one last time. And I knew it, my yarn was trying to fall off my needle. I go across one last time. Because I like making sure this stuff is secure too. So I'm a little over the top with this stuff sometimes. But I leave a little bit of a loop. And I bring my needle through that and then tighten it. And then just sew in your ends. And then you've got yourself a nice little hat. Now, here's Chewbacca and his old hat. He loves his hat. But today, we're going to give him a new hat. Let's see. Let's see if it fits him. Yay! Chewbacca has a new hat. He looks so pretty. I just thought I'd share that with you because I make these little hats and it's like I don't have anything to do with them, and I have these little stuffed animals that my kids give me, and I put them in the room with me. So I figured we'll use the little hats on my little guys. I have a lion too that I'm going to put one of these other ones on him. I might actually put this one on the lion because he's a little smaller. And this one is like pulling out, it's like squishing Chewbacca's head. But anyways, there we go. We have our If Charlie Brown Was a Girl hat. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you were able to follow along. I hope it worked out real nice for you. I do hope you're all safe and healthy. I hope you're getting through this quarantine time, you know, we'll just spend some time together making fun stuff. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I keep putting out videos because I get bored, and it's like, well, let me make a video. Let me work something up real quick. So I hope you're enjoying this. If you're new to my channel or you just haven't done so yet, I ask you to subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'll get back to you. And yeah, my Facebook and Instagram links are at the top of my channel page. You can check that stuff out there. If you make any of the stuff with me, you can share your stuff on the Facebook group, and I'd love to see that. I've been waiting, and nobody has shared anything with me yet, and it makes me sad. So, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.